Wonder Woman just changed the landscape of superhero comics and superhero movies for all time. Or at least that's what we're hoping. Because there's two more movies coming out that aren't going to star cis white men. And we have to know, did this change the rules of the game? And welcome back to the heart of the stories we tell. I'm Rob the host, and this is another look deep into what makes a story, a theory on storytelling by a storyteller who believes that every story has merit. And tonight's episode is The Changing Face of Superhero Movies. Now, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Wonder Woman was a blockbuster and it was amazing. But let's not forget, it made less money than Batman v Superman. It made less money than Suicide Squad. And both of those are always labeled as flops. So, yes, Diana Prince, a female superhero, but the first female superhero. Let's not forget, Wonder Woman's pretty amazing on her own. Can Captain Marvel and Black Panther keep up? I'm willing to bet they can, but there's some downsides too. And I'd like to spend some time talking about each of them in their own video. But I want to start with Captain Marvel. Like Wonder Woman, she has a lot to unpack, but unlike Wonder Woman, she's starting from zero. No one really knows who she is. And part of the problem is the name Captain Marvel's been used for many characters. And that's not even counting the fact that there's a DC Captain Marvel, for God's sake. The name is cluttered. But Marvel chose to risk it on their Phase 3, so let's see what they have to work with. I'm going to throw this up here just because I'm going to be talking about who Carol Danvers is, and what I think the comic book does right, and what I hope the movie's going to do. And to start off, to be fair, I'm the classic comic book guy, and I've been reading these comics for going on 30 years almost. But as I sit here in front of my computer, I have to admit, I haven't read that many Captain Marvel issues. Now, I've read about Captain Marvel a lot, starting in X-Men comics and then going over to Avengers, and now her run in the Ultimates 2 is awesome. But I had to actually do some research to find out exactly how many code names Carol Danvers has had. And for now, I'm going to just call her Captain Marvel for the most part. But I'd like to point out that she's actually either a major or a colonel, depending on the issues. So she actually outranks Captain America. And where the Wonder Woman movie was all about doe-eyed Diana learning about the world, this movie's probably going to be more about the badass chick that already knows her way in the world. I'd like to point out that Carol Danvers graduated from college, went into the Air Force, and then joined NASA, which basically means she has the most kick-ass resume ever, even before becoming a superhero. Now, her superhero origin itself isn't that unique. It's actually because of this guy. Because, well, female counterparts to superheroes just kind of do that. This is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel 1. The Marvel hero. She actually became Miss Marvel because of him. During a fight between the Kree and the Skrull, even though I don't think they have the rights to use the Skrull, she intervened and got caught in this device. And the device's explosion didn't kill her. Instead, it merged her DNA with his DNA and gave her a small piece of a new part of a brain that gave her powers. Specifically, giving her Kree powers. And we've seen Kree before. Give you some idea? She can go on par with this guy. Her power set basically was that of Superman. She had energy projection, but from her hands instead of her eyes. She could fly, she was super strong, she was invulnerable. How super strong? Well, I mean, pretty super strong. They fought some of the most badass fights, and Miss Marvel was capable of going toe-to-toe with Hulk. Well, that was before she got put into a coma. And now we're coming into the part of the story where I actually come in, because I'm most familiar with her as Rogue's power set from X-Men comics. And yes, I realize that they can't use X-Men comics. But for quite a few years, they backbenched Captain Marvel, well, Miss Marvel, but Captain Marvel's Carol Danvers for Rogue. And I have to say, since we've never gotten a good live-action Rogue, I'm a little disappointed. But maybe we're going to see a little better with Carol Danvers. She definitely showed up quite a few times in X-Men comics, mostly as a mental image in Rogue's head, but sometimes as an actual character. Especially once she got experimented on by yet another group of aliens, and got a new power set, going by the name Binary. Okay, everyone keeping up? Because I read these comics, and even I'm going, phew, comics are confusing. So as Binary, her main power set was to absorb and redirect energy. and she had the specific capability of being unlimited in this. Now, when she took back the title of Miss Marvel and then went on to become Captain Marvel, she kept this power set as well. So modern day Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is one of the most powerful characters in Marvel, and I'm not saying that lightly. She's basically Superman that can also absorb energy, and when she absorbs enough energy, she goes binary. And as binary, she's basically a cosmic level being. That's why she's given so much respect and power. But she's more than that. Because specifically, she's not on the Ultimates because she can go binary. She's not the leader of Alpha Flight because she's strong. She's also a military tacticianer. Air Force and Avenger trained, I have no doubt that she could, without her powers, go toe-to-toe with most people. Maybe not superhero levels, but pretty close. She's just that badass. But she does come with her own flaws, and that's one of those things that I think makes this character unique. One complaint I hear over and over again about female superheroes is that they don't have enough against them. They don't have weaknesses, and in Captain Marvel's case, that's totally not the case. She's a hothead, because she's a pilot, so she's a bit of a hotshot. She's quick to lose her anger. She has alcohol problems. In fact, she's every bit the Marvel character that you expect from every male Marvel character. She's got a ton of personal problems. Now, again, I don't always find her stories compelling when it's just her, but in team-ups, she is awesome, because she gets to fly off the seat of her pants, she gets to show what being a badass means, but at the same time, she has all these little inner character flaws that come out somewhat regularly. Now, all of that is to wrap up what she's like in the comics. But I think that the cartoon, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, might give us a better look at what she'd be like in the movies. Remember all that confusing crap I talked about just a few minutes ago, where she went through multiple names, different power sets, all that? In the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, she literally just saves Captain Marvel's life, gets her power set, and instantly becomes Earth's Captain Marvel. I'm sure we're going to see something more akin to that. Although, slight aside, I've heard rumors they might cut Marvel completely out of her origin. I realize there's a strong case to be made that having the most powerful woman in the Marvel MCU still owing a place to a guy might be a little off-putting to some. But I want you to remember, some of their best hits have been when they kept close to the comic books. And at the end of the day, I don't think she was ever really subservient to Captain Marvel. And she's going to be Captain Marvel any way you look at it. So I really hope we see a Kree Marvel, even if he is blue-skinned. In the meantime, this is pretty much what she's gone from to. And at the end of the day, I think that Brie Larson is going to play an awesome Captain Marvel. I'd love to hear what you think. And if I get enough likes and shares on this video, or some comments, I'd really like to do a follow-up and talk about more about what I'd like to see for MCU Miss Marvel. But for now, just let me know in general what you thought of this video and of the movie coming up. Next time we talk MCU, I'll talk a little more about Black Panther. But next week I have a comic to review, specifically an online one, The Order of the Stick. But just in case this is the last time I get to talk about Captain Marvel before I do the review next year, I do want to take this opportunity to just wish Marvel luck. This is going to be a hard one to pull off, but they have a history of pulling off hard ones. Captain Marvel isn't a premier hero. She's not one of the top. That would be Spider-Man, that would be X-Men. But way back in the day, I would have said the same thing about Iron Man. And I'd like to remind you that Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America were the B squad of Marvel. But for now, I need you to like and share this video, and if you're really happy, I'd love a subscription. Just hit that button and the little bell for notifications. I'm trying to build up a community here. I talk about stories, story concepts, and most importantly, what it means to us to tell these stories. And, okay, yeah, I mostly cover comic book and nerdy genre stuff, but hey, that's just me. So, I hope that you had a good time, enjoyed this look into who Captain Marvel is, and join me back here next time as we take a walk through the heart of the stories we tell. Have a good night.